Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is John J. Gaming on the mic, coming at you guys with another ACSA episode. We are here with 3 games to show here today in 3 different conferences, and all of them going to have an effect on their respective conference championship hunts in terms of who goes to those conference championship games at the end of the regular season. So, gonna be a good one here today, man. So do me a favor and make sure you smash that like button, as well as hit subscribe if you do have to be brand new to the channel as well. But we'll start with the first matchup of the day. We have ourselves a matchup here in the Sunshine Conference between the Virginia Christian Saints and the Thomas Jefferson College Minutemen. And right now, man, it seems like, you know, Virginia Christian has the inside track to make it to the Sunshine Conference Championship game. Potentially might be able to quench it if they win and get a little bit of help here today, and that would be a great thing for them, considering that it is only week 9 here in the season, and already being able to make it to your conference championship game, or at least knowing you'll be able to make it. That is a really good thing to see right here, as we have 3rd and long. But these Thomas Jefferson guys, despite having a really tough season right now, they are, you know, certainly going to come out here and try to play as the spoiler, as we have it intercepted. Marsh is gone. No one's going to be able to catch this guy either, and that's how we get our first touchdown of this episode. Pick 6 out here in these streets. Touchdown, Saints. And that's how we see our first points of this episode. Virginia Christian coming out, getting a pick 6 out on the defensive side of the ball. And VCU will open up with a 7-0 lead here midway through the second quarter already. As first quarter, you know, both teams were just feeling each other out, so nothing too terribly much happening. But we'll see if the Minutemen of Thomas Jefferson College can respond, though, as Ferguson takes an absolute shot right there. He's going to get himself back up. He's a tough kid. He's watches the hockey highlights. So, of course, he is able to still make that catch despite the hits. As we do have 1st and 10 inside the 45-yard line for the Minutemen, as Davis takes it to the outside and gets it across midfield once again. The Minutemen now inside VCU territory for a second time here in this quarter of play. So here we go, man. 2nd and 2 coming up here. Hugo dropping back to pass. He's looking around. Gonna throw it short to Phillips. Phillips able to get across the 30-yard line for a first down right there. Now we got ourselves another 1st and 10 here. Hugo dropping back. Gonna go over the middle. Has a man in Phillips. Nice grab. Gets him inside the 5-yard line right now. So Thomas Jefferson on the edge of tying this ball game up. As Hugo will throw towards the end zone, finds Finneron for the touchdown. And just like that, this game is all knotted up, and, you know, defensively speaking, Thomas Jefferson College is given everything that VCU Saints can handle, really making them earn that conference championship appearance, as he had a man wide open, but simply misses him. That was a touchdown if they were able to connect. But instead, we have 2nd and 10. Cashman going to try to scramble out to the left-hand side of the football field and able to pick up the first down right there. As Chris Cashman ready to take the snap once again, facing another 1st and 10. Facing pressure, throwing it at the last second, trying to go deep, but it's deflected away at the very last second. As now, we got 2nd and 10 again, going to Clark up the middle. He's got some space to work with, able to slice and dice in there for the first down. So a nice drive here for the Saints, as the Saints come marching in, already in the red zone. VCU looking to take the lead. We'll see if they finish this. They'll go up the middle with Cashman on the quarterback sneak up the guts. And it works to perfection, getting them in goal line positioning. Is now 2nd and goal. A couple plays later, Clark just barely finding the room. Also finding that end zone. Touchdown, Saints. The first offensive score of the day for Virginia Christian University. And they also take the lead because of that, now holding a 14-7 lead. As we'll now see how the Minutemen will respond back. Both teams going back and forth here ever since that first core of action concluded. And so this game can still go either way. Might be seeing ourselves a little upset over as Ferguson's able to make a guy miss. Hit him with that little stutter step made famous in NCAA 14. And so now goal line situation only a few yards away from tying as Davis dives into the end zone. Touchdown Minutemen. And what a drive in response to the VCU Saints here in the great state of Virginia. And look at this. They're going to go for it here. Trying to take the lead right now as they try to throw it into the end zone. But it's incomplete though. And therefore that is going to be a failed 2-point conversion. So despite scoring a touchdown, VCU is still going to be up 14-13. A 1-point game that is going to be extended very shortly as Toussaint breaks some tackles and gets it to the end zone. Touchdown Saints! And Virginia Christian University with a 21-13 lead. And thanks to a couple of 3 and outs on a coming back and forth, VCU still has the football, and then on top of that has a lead. We are about to see if they can close this game out, as we have a first down right there. It's now 2nd and 11 going up the middle to Clark. Clark able to get up there and pick up the first down in the process. Clark able to pick up some good yardage right there. It's now 1st and 10. Cashman going to the right hand side, gets it to Robinson. Immediately going out of bounds though, as the Saints still driving, going with Cashman up the middle, who slides down. A first down that gets them into field goal range. So at this point, if you are the Minutemen, you gotta try to create a turnover, as that could have been it right there, but could not haul it in. So a golden opportunity lost right there, as Thomas Jefferson College still needs to go out and play some defense. We got a first down for VCU, as Cashman will drop back, throw it towards the end zone. It's incomplete, broken up at the very last second. It's now 2nd and 10. Cashman dropping back the pass, gonna throw it to the left hand side, and it's incomplete though. So 3rd and 10 now, dropping back again, trying to go to the left hand side, but it's dropped though. And that, since it was dropped, that means they had to settle for a field goal. But Thomas Jefferson College, that is going to look like one of those things where it really looks like they are going to close out this game, unless we see a minor miracle happen right here. And now we do have 1st and 10. Cashman trying to scramble out of there, and he does slide down in the process for a nice little 7-yard gain. So it looks like they will close this game out after all, as Cashman will drop back one more time, throw it over the middle, but it's intercepted, but it does not lead to anything. VCU improving to 7-3 on the season here, and they're looking like they are in a prime position to take the Sunshine Conference, as we'll now shift it over to the opposite side of the country, going over to the Rocky Mountains, as we'll see Southern Cal Tech take on the Colorado Tech Rattlesnakes, led by one of the best running backs in the country in Charles Green, who is only a true freshman, by the way. Don't let that overall fool you. He's pretty darn good. And I'll tell you what, both of these teams, man, big game for both squads, as even though they're 3 and 5 right now, as there's an interception. Southern Cal Tech getting the football to work with inside the 45-yard line. So again, a pretty big game that we're witnessing right here, as both teams need a win in order to stay in the hunt for the Rocky Mountain Conference Championship game. Lake Osago looks like one of the squads, but both these teams have an outside spot of taking that second spot to play against the Ironmen when it's all said and done. As we have a fumble on the play, it is recovered by Colorado Tech. So the Rattlesnakes are back out there with the football. We'll see if they can do a little bit better than their first drive in this football game. where they actually turn the football over. That's not going to happen. They're going to be forced to punt this football away. So, still waiting for our first points, but it's still pretty early right now, and that's going to help out the Rattlesnakes as they force a fumble deep in the Southern Cal Tech territory. And they're going to cash in right away, as well as Finch finds the end zone on the very next play following that fumble. Colorado Tech gets on the board first here, as the Rattlesnakes do take an early 7-0 lead here. And they also have the football, as they did force a 3 and out once again from Southern Cal Tech. As now 2nd and 10 here. Williams gonna throw it deep downfield. He's got Stevens, and oh my goodness, he made 2 guys look silly in the defensive backfield, and it leads to a touchdown. So another early score here, where it is an early 14-0 lead, as now Southern Cal Tech does have the football once again, and they got the offense back out on the field. We'll see if they can respond, or are they going to spill out, turn the ball over, or punt the football away like in previous drives. As we do have 3rd and 7, going to go over to the right-hand side, try to complete the pass, but simply does not work out for them. As the Fighting Shamrocks, man, they did get a field goal at the very least, so at least it's comforting to say that they will not be shut out. But at the same time, though, it is not necessarily a great start for the Shamrocks. But they're going to try to change that here in the second half, as Southern Cal Tech does have the football once again here. They're getting another drive going. A better start than what they did in the first half of play. Enriquez will drop back the pass, but as I say something good about these guys, what do they end up doing? They turn the football over, and they give it back to the Rattlesnakes, and more specifically, they give it to one of the best offensive players in the Rocky Mountain Conference, Charles Green, who's actually able to get a catch out in the backfield as well and pick up a first down as well. As now, a few plays later, focusing on 3rd and 4. Williams dropping back the pass, going over the right-hand side to Jackson. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, but he's able to pick up a good one, as KJ Jackson gets him across the 40-yard line. But on the next play, we have a rare fumble from Charles Green, and that fumble was lost, so the Shamrocks have the football back and have an opportunity here to go ahead and try to get back into this football game. But a few plays later, they fumble the football back as well, and they give it back to the Rattlesnakes. So not good play right there. You have a chance to come back, and instead, what do? You turn the football over, as now the Rattlesnakes have the football here in the 4th quarter of play. Still a 14-3 ball game right now, as Jackson is able to pick up a first down right here and get across midfield in the process. As again, 2nd and 10, Williams going up the middle, gonna go ahead and pick up the first down inside the 40-yard line. Williams keeping that thing rolling, as he's going to do a quarterback sneak as well. And I'll tell you what, Charles Green may be the vocal point of his offense, but don't underestimate Williams. He can do a thing or two as well, as Williams drops back again on a 2nd and 13, trying to throw it across the middle, but it is incomplete though. Threw it a little too far ahead of him. It's now 3rd and 13. Williams needs to make a play, throws it short to Jackson, and Jackson is able to put in the work to pick up that first down, getting inside the 15-yard line in the process. As they're getting close to another touchdown here, we'll see if they can finish this drive though, as Williams gets it to Charles Green, who tries to dive for the end zone, but is stopped by the 1-yard line monster. They'll go to Charles Green to let him finish the drive, and he does exactly that. Another touchdown for the Rattlesnakes, extending this thing out to a 21-3 lead. And And Colorado Tech is able to finish these guys off, winning by that same score, and Colorado Tech remain in the hunt in the Rocky Mountain. So for our final game of the day, we have what could potentially be a conference championship preview here in the Stars and Stripes Conference. We have the Darden Jaguars going on the road to play against the Oxford Chargers. Both are, one of very few teams that are above 500. It's been a rough year for the Stars and Stripes Conference. But I'll tell you what, man, Darden is a team to watch right now. When they went to go play a Big North team, I think it was the Rugby Boilermakers, that they took to overtime and won. And ever since they managed to do that, they have stripped off 5 consecutive wins. So they are hot, and they're going to look to dethrone Oxford, as neither team will be eliminated from conference championship contention for who is going to lose this game. But it's a good measuring stick game within the conference, as again, these are the 2 top teams right now, first and second place, matter of fact. So it's good to see where you're at in conference play right now, and if you're ready for that bigger stage, that is the postseason. As we have a 2nd and 10 coming up, Renfro will drop back to pass, trying to throw it over the middle, but it's picked off the deflection. Johnson's able to get his hands on it, and so the Oxford Chargers get the football, and Simpkins in at quarterback. Gonna get the Chargers across midfield right away, as he's forced out of bounds eventually at the 25-yard line. But the drive could stall though unless they try to do something here. Gonna try to throw it to the right-hand side, but it's incomplete, however. So the Oxford Chargers had to settle for a field goal, but not a bad first drive at all to begin this ball game, as they do force a 3 and out on their next possession. So the Chargers do have the football once again here in the great state of Mississippi, as Simpkins will drop back, facing a ton of pressure, and the pressure makes him pay for it ultimately, forcing an interception because of that, as Renfro got this team offense out on the field, going to try to get the first points on the board. Defense has been playing pretty darn well, but again, just one of those things where, offense just isn't necessarily a thing, That means we're just getting close to the postseason football here. Some more grueling efforts, as there's a man deep downfield. He's got a man. He throws it short though, and we know why. A roughing the passer penalty sets him up inside the 35-yard line, as Rodney on the next play picks up a nice first down, but fumbles the football away. So they got away with a roughing the passer penalty that got them deep in Chargers territory, but the Oxford defense is able to stand up still. And as a result of that, it still remains a 3-0 game, as Oliphant is actually going to go ahead and get a handoff over to the right-hand side, able to pick up a few yards, as now Oliphant going to get another carry once again, going to try to cut it back up the middle, is eventually caught from behind, but not before crossing midfield. So now, 1st and 10 on the 49-yard line. Renfro going to drop back the pass, going to get to Crosswind, who also caught that off the deflection. Very good awareness by both teams right now, as they both have catches as a result of a deflection. So fun fact of the day, you'll love to see it. As now 2nd and 9, Renfro going to go ahead and scramble upfield and managed to pick up 6 yards on the play. As now 3rd and 3 coming up here, going to go up the middle to Wakuza, but Wakuza could not reach that first down marker, so it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do here, as Darden will elect to take their first timeout. And a surprising development here, as they actually going to go ahead and punt this football away. I don't know why you would think about doing that, as Leftwich decides to try to return this thing. He runs out of bounds, and it causes a safety. So that's how the Darden Jaguars score. their first points of the game. It's a safety with less than 2 minutes left here in this first half of play. That also means the Jaguars are going to go ahead and get the football. Only one man left to beat. He beat that guy. He's down the sideline. 89 is gone. Like a girl in a country song. Touchdown, Jaguars. And the Darden Jaguars have seized the momentum here to end the first half, coming with 9 unanswered points and doing it in a unique way, getting a safety and then a kickoff return for a touchdown on the very next play. And then also on top of that, the Jaguars also get the ball to start the second half, and they're going to make good work as Edwards goes down the sideline. Touchdown, Jaguars. So Edwards has a kickoff return for a touchdown, and he also has an offensive touchdown as well, as this lead has completely elevated to a 2-possession ball game in favor of Darden University. The Jaguars now holding a 16-3 lead as Francois wants it all, going deep. He's got Rooney. Rooney, end zone, touchdown, Jaguars. Another touchdown in short succession. And in a blink of an eye, it's 23-3. Darden with 23 unanswered points since about 2 minutes left in the second quarter. So that's insane. As now the Chargers are going to try to pick up the pieces, trying to see if they can get themselves back into this ball game. As Simpkins will drop back the pass, throws to the left-hand side, gets to Decatur. And on top of that first down, there also was a pass interference that is going to move it to about the 25-yard line, as it is a spot foul. As Simpkins does get some into the red zone at the cost of one of the defensive players. Chapman, one of the defensive backs, looks like is hurt. He's going to be out for a few plays, so depending on how long this drive goes, this might be, for the remainder of this drive. So decent loss for this defense. That is one of the defensive captains of the Darden Jaguars. It's now 23-3. Now being cut down a little bit as the Chargers find the end zone for the first time today. Then on top of that, look at this. We got ourselves a 2-point conversion right here. Going to be bold as Simpkins drives for the end zone and gets in there. So the 2-point conversion is actually good and is now cut down to a 2-possession game. This football game is far from over. Gotta get some defensive stops though, as the Jaguars have the football once again. Gonna go deep to Rooney, who makes the man nearly miss, but holds on for dear life and is able to get the shoestring tackle. It's now 1st and 10, going to Loaiza, who has it broken up as he's just about to bring it in. So nice timing right there by the defensive back. It's now 2nd and 10. Oyafon taking the carry and going to the right-hand side before cutting down the middle, doing a little zigzag action as the Jaguars continue to move downfield, and they're going to get some help from the defense as well. As one of the Oxford defensive linemen actually went off sides. So 2nd and 1 now as they fumble the football again. And the Chargers get their hands on it, but unfortunately they don't do anything with it. So here they are trying to get another stop on defense. They certainly need it right about now, as they have a 3rd and long coming up here. Renfro dropping back to pass. He's looking around. Gonna send one deep. He's wide open. Edwards with his 3rd touchdown today. And Darden with a 30-11 lead. Certainly looking good for the Chargers right about now, as Oxford will try to get a drive going here to keep the hopes and dreams alive in what's going to be a pretty big game for both squads. And Darden has certainly looked the part here today, playing very convincing against the #1 team in the Stars and Stripes Conference. As it's a 1st and 10, Simpkins going over the middle, tries to get to any one of those guys, but none of them was able to get to the football. So now they face 3rd and long, gonna try to run it with Wallace, who fumbles the ball again. Osborne of Darden recovers it, and that's how this game ends. The Darden Jaguars winning convincingly by a final score of 30-10 here, folks. So after that exciting matchup in the Stars and Stripes Conference, what could potentially be the Stars and Stripes Conference Championship game depending on how this last quarter of the regular season goes, we'll go ahead and check out some other scores that happened around the ACSA. Now I will say that some of these teams did play, multiple games in the same week, and hopefully that's not a thing that happens in future seasons, but that is something that we are going to have to deal with the last quarter of the season. But hopefully that doesn't affect the standings too much. But with that being said, let's go ahead and check out, some of the more notable games that have also happened around the ACSA as well. So we had the Hayes Indians coming in ranked number 11 in the nation play against the Nazareth Maccabees. Remember the Nazareth team that went on to upset Sugarland State? Well, now they're under 500 thanks to his performance on the road against the number 11 team in the nation. They do move up to A1 this season, whereas Nazareth is under 500 for the very first time this season, joining New Mexico Tech in that regard within the conference. Texas Catholic, on the other hand, has looked very impressive, and they continue to do so as they hosted the unaffiliated team in the San Jose Dolphins and won big by a final score of 38-3 in their home matchup outside of conference play. Southwest New Mexico also looked pretty good in this matchup as well. Despite losing their previous game, they were able to recover nicely, winning against Espanol of New England by a final score of 33-0, and doing it on the road as well, so a nice performance by them. Wake Oswego was able to, meanwhile, dodge a very big bullet, playing against Hawaii A&M, which was sadly one of the teams that did play multiple games this week, which doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. But Wake Oswego does improve to 8-1, having a phenomenal season, and looks like a lock to not only go to the Rocky Mountain Conference Championship game, but might be one of the teams that, go to one of these more notable bowl games at the end of the season. They win by a final score of 20-18 against Hawaii A&M. Another team that kind of struggled throughout the course of today, or at least didn't look too terribly impressive, is the Warwick Rebels. They hosted the Boston State Deacons, who have really struggled this season, coming in to 3-5. They did hand them an L, but didn't do it in a very impressive fashion. They do win 20-6 and improve to 9-0, maintaining that undefeated streak that they got going on within the ACSA. But they're going to have to play better moving forward if they want to go for that national championship. With that being said, though, at least they're not a fellow Atlantic Shore team that was ranked. The Kent Colonials came into today's game ranked number 17 in the nation, but they're going to take a dive as they played against the South Carolina Tech Engineers within Atlantic Shore Conference play and lose to them by a final score of 23-16. The Engineers now 6-3. Meanwhile, the Colonials lose their second game of this season. Do they fall in the top 25 because of it? Over in the Big North Conference, we have the Detroit State Pitbulls going on the road to play against a former top 25 squad in the Indiana Fordham Whitetails. Detroit State was on the edge, sitting at number 25 in the nation, but they should be able to stay, given that they did win on the road, winning 15-0 against the Whitetails. Meanwhile, DeKalb A&M proves that last week's game was quite the fluke, as they went on the road to play against the Rugby Boilermakers and take care of business like they should, winning by a final score of 46-0. DeKalb A&M proves that they can still be a contender for a college football playoff moving forward. On the other hand, the Southfield Dalmatians lose their second game of the season because they hosted Eastern Pennsylvania. And despite them not being ranked, they are a pretty good football team, and it certainly showed right there as they defeat the number 8 team in the nation on the road too, winning 20-12. Good for the Beavers. Chattanooga Tech also went on the road as well, playing up against the Prairie View Prairie Dogs within Super South Conference play, and they do get themselves back on track. They do win by a final score of 16-10. Meanwhile, Prairie View does fall down to that lower echelon in the Super South Conference standings, in that tie to second to last place along with a few other teams now. Meanwhile, the capital of Tennessee, they lost their first game the other day. They only fell to number 3, and they played a sneaky good team in AJ Moore Academy. They win 16-3, so that will at least keep them in the hunt for the not only for the Super South Conference race, be one of those 2 teams that go to a conference championship, but also at the same time go ahead and play for the national college championship game within the ACSA. On the other hand, University of Alabama Hoover looks to start to find its rhythm once again, as they finally look like a slightly more dominated team that we saw in the first few weeks of the season. They went on the road to play against Central Georgia A&M, a team that should be ranked in its own right but for some reason isn't, and win 25-6 on the road. Good job for the Panthers, and they should stay in the top 25 because of that. And that will end today's ACSA content here on the John J Gaming channel. Next episode, we will have the last game of week 9 being played between 2 top 25 teams in the Super South Conference. We have the number 14 ranked Coastal Alabama Waves going on the road to play against the Ceballo Dream, coming in ranked number 22 in the nation. Our first look at them in an episode. This should be a good one, so if you're excited about that as well as enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and please smash that like button as well as hit subscribe. If you do have to be brand new, we are on the road to 1K subscribers as of the recording of this video. I would love to have you join me on that journey. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care, everybody.